I wonder what you consider to be the limit of your being. Are you a being of spirit encased in a physical body and therefore limited to the expression of that body by its 5 senses? Or have you already begun to consider the 4th dimension, and perhaps even beyond that, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th? Are you really a being of the earth within the limitations of human evolution? Is your understanding of the world defined by the limits of human knowledge? As you sit here tonight, is the limitation of your being your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own concept of the universe? Are the limitations which you perceive that which you have created, that which society has forced upon you? Or are they the limitations of a higher being that has placed you on this plane of evolution to fulfill the cycles of your evolutionary path? What is indeed the nature of that limit? Before you came into physical matter, when your spirit dwelt on another plane of life, it expressed itself in many forms, in many patterns, indeed in many energies. It knew consciousness on many levels. It was not limited by form. But then, to fulfill the path of your destiny, you chose to come down onto the plane of earth. You placed the essence of your spirit onto the plane of physical matter, first as a seed within your mother's womb, and then as that seed multiplied and grew into the physical body of which you are aware today. That body is the first apparent limitation which you come into contact with as a child. You have the consciousness of spirit, but you are limited by the physical body into which you have incarnated. But as you grow from childhood to manhood or womanhood, as the spirit takes control within the body, so you begin to discover that the limits of the human form are not as they perceived. It is indeed possible to go beyond that which you had originally thought of as being the limits of your physical body. Using the power of your minds, you can travel beyond the human physical range. You can indeed exercise the qualities of spirit which you possessed on the higher planes of life before you came into physical being. You find yourselves in an apparent 3-dimensional world. You are, or so you believe, fixed in the time of earth. But already there is an understanding that this time is indeed no longer fixed, that there is a dimension beyond that time in which you travel the whole of your physical life. That you are not fixed in this moment of space, in this moment of time. These are concepts which perhaps you play around with as ideas to be discussed in little groups, but not to be taken seriously. Is the limitation of your understanding of human life that which has been taught you by your teachers? Is your understanding of human evolution that which you have read in the textbooks, which you see in the papers, which you hear of on television? Is that the limit which you place on human evolution? Is your understanding of life today determined by the nature of the physical body in which you live? By the race, by the color, by the education, by the country in which you live? Is that the limitation of your being? Or have you perhaps begun to see beyond that limit? Tonight, I invite you with me to consider, each and every one of you, what is the nature of your limit, why it should indeed limit you, and what prevents you from going beyond that limit. There is a term in your esoteric language for the creator of all life, a being whom you cannot understand or comprehend. That being you sometimes refer to as the infinite spirit, spirit without limit. Why should a being so great as that be unlimited? And you who are but gods in the making, following that being's evolutionary path, living within that being's evolutionary cycle, progressing yourselves to become gods, be surrounded by so many apparent limitations. You who walk the path to the Godhead are indeed without limit, as is your Creator, and as is everything that has and ever will be within the cosmos. There is and never will be no finite limit. The limit which you establish is of your own choosing. The greatest evolutionary cycles that have occurred, the moments of supreme advance in your human civilization, has come when humanity has gone beyond the limits, whether it be in science, whether it be in philosophy, whether it be in religion. There has to be someone who comes on the plane of earth and shows that the limit which has been set as the norm is not the limit, that the form to which we have become accustomed is not the form, that the understanding of time, that the understanding of space, that the understanding of our planet Earth is not as we would have it. Before you were born, you are souls of freedom. Your souls still possess that freedom. You may go and experience the cosmos as you wish. Indeed, when you sleep at night, you travel in those realms. That which you experience in your moments of awakening has no limit. That which you conceive of as human physical reality is not the ultimate. You have been led into an understanding of that reality by the limitations of the past. If you live in the past, you are condemned to live life as it always has been in the past. If you live within those limitations, if you live within those thought forms, then you are doomed to relive the past. But for those that step beyond that limit, who see no form, who see no finality, who see no limitation, then the cosmos is an unlimitless field of energy waiting to be explored, waiting to be used. The greatest mistake that you all make today is to live in isolation, to consider that you are limited, that the essence of your being is limited by what you think you are. As you sit here now, how far do you reach? Can you see the nature of your aura? Can you see the pattern of your thought forms? Do you not understand that they reach beyond this sanctuary, beyond this planet, into the cosmos? There are no limitations on your being. You will contact, you will attract unto yourself that which vibrates to your note in the cosmos. You will draw down to you that which you are, the note which you sound. Even now you are a part of that greater energy field. You are vibrating to it, contributing to it, taking from it. The cyclic law of demand and return. Your mind is in tune to universal mind. You are part of the energy which controls the whole universe. Even now you are receiving from beings, from energies beyond your comprehension. The limit of your form is what you choose to make it. Your physical body is not a limit. It is merely a tool to enable you to operate on the realm of physical earth. The limitations of that body are not as you would have them. The limitation is the limitation of your being. You are souls of consciousness. You come down on the earth at this time to rise above the limits that have been established, not to overthrow them as if you are in some battle, not to demolish them, but merely by demonstrating in your lives, in your words, in your deeds, in your thought forms, that which has limited humanity during the last 2,000 years of the Piscean Age is no longer a limitation. Reach up into universal mind and draw down to yourselves the universe. You are on the plane of earth to learn the lessons of earth, to partake of this great school of planetary evolution. You may not think that this cycle of evolution is very high. It is indeed a low rate of vibration, but the potential for development within this school is immense. You are honored to be upon it, to be giving of yourselves to the energy of this planet, and in return receiving the vibration of its love and its being. Consider therefore now what you have established as your limits, what you have placed upon that soul of freedom that vibrates within you. You are still a being of freedom. You have the freedom of choice. You have the freedom of spirit on this plane of life. The limitations on yourself are not the limitations of your Creator. There is no limit. There is nothing that you cannot do if your consciousness will allow you to do it. Seek, therefore, that consciousness. Go within yourselves and discover the true nature of your being. Realize the freedom that is yours. The freedom to travel the universe. The freedom to learn wisdom from the feet of great beings. To be in touch with them at any moment in time. To be beyond the realm of physical matter, to tune into the cosmos. The earth has never been and will never be your limitation. It is a school in which you learn but briefly. Learn the lesson of this school, but use the cosmic tools of your being to learn that lesson. Do not stay on the plane of earth, conditioned by that plane of earth. Do not be as other people. Look back at the history of humankind and see the repetitive cycles of evolution, how humanity has never learned, has never advanced beyond the limitations of its physical reality, how war has followed war, how death and destruction have still followed death and destruction, how no philosophical argument, no understanding of life has yet brought humanity into a relationship where it can coexist in peace and love. Humanity, therefore, has not yet gone beyond the limits of its own creation. It has not yet tapped into that power, into that energy. It has not yet become formless. When you truly evolve beyond the limitations of your being, when you realize that there is indeed no limitation, that at any given moment in your earthly time you are at one with the universe, that the universe flows through you, that the molecules of your body vibrate to the cosmos, that you are gods of creation, that you are beings of the cosmos, that great trust has been placed in you, then perhaps you will begin to fulfill your potential, the potential of the Creator, to be as the Creator, limitless, limitless, limitless. We must be careful that we do not create this division between what we consider spirit and what we consider ourselves. They are one and the same thing. There is no separation. You are spirit, you are within spirit, you are indeed a part of spirit. Your spirit is in every aspect of your being. You are the creation of your spirit. That intelligence, that consciousness is ever present. To contact it is very easy. It is just to listen to yourself. But there are so many good reasons why we do not want to listen to ourselves. How many of us are really honest with ourselves? How many of us ever really want to hear the truth? How many of us want to discover that divine aspect of ourselves? As we go through life, this choice is ever present before us, to listen or to ignore. For much of our lives, we do not listen. We get out of the habit of listening. We are happy to respond to other aspects of our being, to the desires of the personality aspect, to respond to the physical limitations, to be mastered by our bodies rather than to be the masters of our bodies. We forget that we are indeed divine, that there is an aspect of ourselves which touches the heavens. You cannot train yourselves to hear your spirits, for you are already listening to them. What you have to rediscover is what is your spirit and what is not. And once you have learnt that discrimination and can attune to it, then the passage of your lives will be very different. Why is the pace of human evolution slow? Or what would you consider fast? What would you think is the norm for human evolution? Is it indeed a slow process? Is that when we compare human evolution in relationship with earthly evolution, it would appear to be slow. We are aware that the evolution of the earth has gone on for millions of years. We are aware that for a large part the three kingdoms of matter have evolved for millions of years before humanity ever was placed upon the plane of earth. And yet humanity comes upon the plane of earth, and in the twinkling of an eye, for that is all it is in relation to the evolution in totality of the earth, humanity is now in a position to destroy not only itself, but the whole planet, indeed perhaps the solar body of which it is a part. Would you call that slow? Humanity being divine, being with spirit, being linked to the Godhead, will inevitably evolve in this way. It is not limited by earthly evolution. You are following a pattern of divine evolution. You are on this earth for but a short period of time to experience the school of earth. truly the rate of your evolution, the limit of your evolution, if you would call it that, is your consciousness. Why should perhaps the Master Jesus have reached that point of consciousness before you? How could he have attained that apparent divinity? Could be a messenger of the Christ, when apparently you could not. Is that truly a division? Is that a division of consciousness, or a division of your thought? What limits you in this way? In one lifetime, you could advance in consciousness beyond your comprehension. What is the limit of your destiny? Is destiny limitation? Let us consider this. Before you came down into physical matter, before you were physically limited, you chose a path that you wish to walk. You chose that path for a variety of reasons, not only karmic, but the desire to fulfill the cycle of your evolution, to learn. Then you come into physical matter with that knowledge encapsulated within your being. It is ever motivating, ever directing you. It never limits you. It is, shall we say, a broad aspect along which you walk, a direction which you have chosen, a path which you wish to walk. What, therefore, are the limitations that you see in your being? Why should life be a limitation? The limitations can be very comforting. They can be a useful prop to ourselves. Oh, I can't do this because of that. Well, I would like to do that, but I cannot because. Oh, that would not be possible because I cannot do that. And so on and so on. What are these limitations that we impose? Why do we impose them? We have, of course, already had the word fear brought forward. What is fear? It is a lack of trust in oneself. It is a lack of understanding of the true nature of our being. If we are indeed divine, and we recognize that fact, then what can touch us? It is when we feel we are not divine that we fear. Why do we find limitations so reassuring? In fact, do we seek limitations? Do we say they are very good, they are not bad? I like limitations.
Sometimes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Why do we do this?
Sometimes they are good.
Why?
Well, it's better to go...
You tell me one limitation that is good.
To go at 70 miles than 120 in the built-up area, or a road.
Yes.
It's a limitation that's good.
That is not the sense in which I am talking tonight. That is a physical restriction.
Well...
A speed limit is a restriction of a form. It is a discipline for the convenience of others. What we are talking about here are deeper limitations of the soul, of the personality perhaps. For the moment, forget ourselves, the individuals. Let us consider the world as a whole. Let us look back at the history of human evolution as you recognize it, as if you were indeed what you are, gods on high. From another plane of existence, you look down on the earth in totality, at what it is today, at what it has been, and if you are wise enough, at what it will be. And let us consider, as a God, what have been the limitations on human evolution. Let us say that as a supreme God, you wish to remove the greatest limit to human evolution, and you could do it because of your power, to aid humanity's evolution. What would be the limit that you would remove? What has limited human evolution, in your opinion?
Well, the choice of ignorance over intelligence.
This presupposes that there always was intelligence from which to choose.
Well, if humans are of the divine, then surely the divine aspect is intelligence.
There is a source, obviously, of cosmic intelligence, but there's also a source of earthly intelligence. Humanity has to learn of earthly intelligence. Humanity has to learn of the plane of earth. For example, if you were suddenly placed on the moon, you would have your cosmic intelligence to guide you, but you would have to learn of moon intelligence. You would have to grasp an understanding of the plane of moon. So you come on earth with cosmic intelligence, yes, but you have to learn of the intelligence of earth. Or your race does.
Is there one question is there one answer you're looking for that we're not giving you?
Well, I'm going to offer one in a minute. Look back on humanity's path of evolution. You must understand that thought can be constructive or destructive. It can be positive or negative. It is a useful part in humanity's armory. Just as the good Lord would not expect you to go through life minus a leg, so he would not require you to go through life without thought. It is obvious that thought can be wrongly used, yes. But thought is an essential part of human evolution. I would suggest to you that the greatest limitation on human evolution, as I see the pattern of development on this earth, is that humanity sees itself as individual, that it cannot recognize the whole. Humanity, you see, has individualized itself in form. It has divided itself into segments, not only into countries, but even into areas, and even down to single individuals. It has seen itself as separate from everything that is around it. It has lost sight of the universe, that all is divine, that all is of spirit, that all is of the Godhead, that all operates within that Godhead, that all is one, that all is evolving together, and indeed that all must evolve together. How therefore can humanity evolve? By destroying another aspect of humanity. For it is destroying the very part of itself. You kill anybody, you are killing yourself. We establish limits, I think, to protect ourselves, to protect the weak aspects of ourselves. Where there are weaknesses, we seek to defend. Where we are uncertain, where we have still to learn, then we build up our limitations as a form of protection for the individual. To protect what? An individuality that in truth does not exist. The essence of a community is stronger than the individual members that make it, and that is why we support the idea of living in communities. The whole is greater than the parts. In a sense, perhaps the purpose of tonight's lecture was for this instrument. For what is a job but a limit?
Mm-hmm.
Is a career a limitation? Do careers impose limitations which were never present? Oh, I am this and therefore I cannot be that. And so on and so on. There come times in life when one has to throw off one's limitations, to realize that what one has been is but a small aspect of the whole, not the totality. To realize that one has limited oneself. To say, well, perhaps I have been a pilot, but perhaps also I should have been a doctor, a dentist, a scientist, a teacher, and so on and so on. You have this strange notion on planet Earth today that you can only do one job. That you are only meant to do one job. The diversity of human experience proves otherwise. I I think the time for change is long overdue.